Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Heyman and Dr. Lederer, both of your testimonies highlight the many applications Earth MRI has outside of mineral data and the benefit it provides in promoting the geophysical survey industry. How important is, to each of you, is it that the U.S. not only retains this skill set but continues to grow it? Dr. Lederer?
Yeah, I think workforce development is one of the more tangible outcomes of Earth MRI thus far. It's allowed the USGS to hire and attract and retain talented geoscientists. It's also allowed the state surveys to do that. And it's created new opportunities in the private sector that simply didn't exist prior to the program.
Yeah, Dr. Heyman.
Yeah, I think where the federal government in particular is essential here is that the business cycles, as we know, cause fluctuations in the population of geoscientists and engineers in any specialization. Having a resilient, longer-term strategy, employing the university partnerships, employing the state surveys, really can create a stable workforce that's always ready to respond to the next challenge.
Yeah, and a follow-up, I guess, for both of you. Do you think it's important that USGS mapping programs like Earth MRI are used to promote U.S. capabilities in the geophysical survey sector?
It's in the DNA of these programs from the beginning of things like State Map and other programs like this, that they were founded originally to do exactly that, to make sure there was a national security need met by training the next generation of geoscientists. Absolutely.
Yeah, Dr. Lederer, any thoughts on that?
The name Earth MRI would imply there could be a broader goal, but I think we need to invest in our capabilities at home before we can contribute meaningfully internationally.
Yeah. Dr. Lederer, your testimony highlights how Earth MRI data helps universities and private companies make better investment and research decisions. One of the program's greatest strengths is that this information is publicly available, and it can be used by state geological surveys, by academia, and the private sector. As Congress looks to expand Earth MRI and potentially accelerate data collection and processing through third-party contractors, should we be concerned about ensuring sensitive geologic data and underlying data sets remain under U.S. control during that process?
I think there's a risk associated with closing off data, that it's underappreciated, right? So part of the reason we lack the information we need to make sound decisions about our own domestic resources is because we don't have any requirement to make that data publicly available. Earth MRI is changing that, and I think we're seeing this transformation precisely because the data is public. That said, there are risks, of course, with being too open, but those can be mitigated through things like physical access to samples and physical access to prospective areas.
Yeah, are there safeguards that Congress should consider?
I wouldn't be able to comment on that, but I think in other countries, for example, in Australia, when a company does work, there's an embargo period between when they collect data and when that data becomes public. So that's an appropriate safeguard that seems to work well there.
Okay. Dr. Hawley, the Breakthrough Institute issued a white paper about the need for the Earth MRI program to include subsurface drilling to verify results. And your testimony mentions the need for an ore sampling campaign. What are the limitations in identifying mineral deposits from the data collected in the Earth MRI program? And how can additionally sampling improve the accuracy of what's beneath our subsurface?
Thank you, Mr. Crank. It's a question of scale. So when you have data over a very broad area, in mineral exploration, we follow a policy around infill. You don't go ahead and grid everything at a very fine resolution. That would be a waste of money. You space out your lines, you space out your sampling before you, for example, go in for more site-specific things like drilling. You don't drill on a grid from the beginning. You drill on wide lines, and then you start filling those in as you find more information. So I think it is possible that we may identify some things within Earth MRI where drilling to help understand the fundamental geologic architecture of the Earth's crust would provide us information not just for that site, but for other sites and create a multiplier effect. I wouldn't immediately go in and start putting pinholes in the map of the United States without more data.
Yeah, thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I yield back.